Hi everybody, my name is Kieran B. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk all about heart coherence, the mind, the body, and the spirit connection, how we can bring heart coherence and that connection into our home yoga practice to enhance our home yoga practice on and off the mat. Before we get started, please hit the subscribe button and the like button too. And then let's go ahead and dive in. So, what is heart coherence? Heart coherence is where your heart beats in perfect rhythm and it harmonizes with the other systems within your body. So that also includes your mind and your heart connection. When you amplify that heart coherence, you're bringing harmony between the mind, the body, and the spirit. And your spirit's your emotions, right? So when you're calming down that mind, you're bringing your heart and your mind together, you're also being more emotionally in control. We'll talk a little bit about that later. However, the purpose of yoga is to yoke or bring union. So when you are bringing in this element of heart coherence and you can understand it, then you can amplify that unity, that union within your yoga practice, and it creates beautiful things for you. Okay, so what are the benefits? What does it mean for you? So again, let's draw back to that emotional control. The number one thing that I see daily is people that deserve to be more in control or completely in control of their emotions. We live in kind of a crazy world. Our minds are everywhere. When we are busy, our minds are busy. Our minds, our thoughts, they create our emotions. And when our mind is out of control and rambo, as I like to say, when we're too busy and we don't take time to slow down and get present, our emotions start to wear us down. Our emotions will feel heavy. I know that when I have anxiety, I have a lot of problems with anxiety, that my mind is running. So for example, I have had a traumatic experience in the car in the past, and I've rerun it in my mind over and over and over and over and over. So I know when I get in the car and I'm in the passenger seat and I start to think and freak out up here, my emotions start to freak out as well. And then I start getting anxiety and then I'm out of control of myself, right? But I understand the beauty of heart coherence. So what I do is I breathe into my heart, take a moment of center and get present and calm down that mind so that I'm able to become functional within. Because when we are at when we have heart coherence, our body is working at full capacity. We're not wasting the energy that we usually waste. We're really generating within. So I'll get back to tools later. That's just an example for you to understand how the mind affects the emotions. But it's also an anxiety and stress reducer. We can be more happy when we have heart coherence. Especially I know within my yoga students, as I watch them come into class, if they're holding on to crazy emotions or they're anxious or they're dealing with grief, as I had today, things like that, by the end of the class, because we've created that heart coherence, they're centered and at peace, free within. It's amazing to watch the shift and the transformation, and I know that you can get there too. Okay, so ways to create the heart coherence. Yoga, as I just mentioned, is a great way to bring that union. Breath within your yoga practice is also a beautiful way. And maybe say that you are somewhere and you don't have time for yoga and you maybe take a second to close your eyes and breathe, and then fill up your heart with feelings of gratitude, love, joy, just by elevating our emotions and elevating the way we feel, because we have the choice in how we feel moment to moment to moment to moment. So I just wanted to throw that in there and remind you that you do have the choice of how you feel every moment. So when we elevate those emotions, we elevate our heart coherence, we begin to not elevate, but we begin to be coherent within our heart. We connect our mind, our body, and that spirit. When you elevate your emotions, you are elevating your spirit. You're thinking better thoughts, and you are feeling better within your body because they all ripple into each other, right? So we've got yoga, we've got breath, we've got elevated emotions, meditation. Meditation is a beautiful way, especially if you add in the elements of breath and feelings, right? When you have your mind and your heart, when you connect them, they send out electromagnetic fields. You're literally drawing in all of these beautiful things into your life that you want to manifest. So when you're heart coherent, you're also connecting that mind and that heart to radiate and attract and pull in what you want to manifest. How beautiful is that? So I want to throw that in right now because meditation, when you're able to meditate, I do a lot of meditations that involve breath work, that involve bringing in this heart coherence, the elevated emotions, and then visualizing what I want within my life. And I know through that I've experienced manifesting beautiful, amazing, incredible things into my life because I've taken the time to do the work within my meditation. So how can you manifest within your life and create this within your practice on and off the mat? So I'm going to go through like on the mat first because any of those you can take off of the mat and into your life however you want. You can create it and be creative with it. So within my yoga practice, whether I'm at home or I'm teaching, before I start my class, really start my flow and my poses, my asana, right? Because yoga is not just asana. It's also all these other things. So I always like to start my classes heart center, either putting my hands on my heart, bringing them to my heart, closing my eyes, relaxing my body, letting my body know that it's time to rest and rejuvenate, bringing my breath into play. And I like to really tune inward. Notice what my body deserves today. Where does it deserve love, gratitude, attention? What is it asking for from me today, right now? After I've tuned into my body and what it deserves, I tune into my breath. Tune into my breath to see what it looks like, feels like, sounds like. Is it heavy, fast, slow, light? You can tell a lot about your emotional state. I can also tell a lot about how I'm feeling within my body, my being, in that exact moment through my breath. It's beautiful. Sometimes I tune in and tap into my breath and I don't even realize that I'm feeling anxious or that I'm feeling maybe a little sad or down or that I'm feeling really excited even all the good emotions. I don't even realize how I'm feeling within the moment until I tune in and tap into my breath. Sometimes, so for instance, the other day, I was feeling very anxious and I didn't know why. And I was ignoring it, going on about my day. It got worse and worse and worse because avoiding and ignoring doesn't make it better. So then I thought, okay, what can I do? I don't even know what is happening because I hadn't recognized that I was actually feeling really anxious because I've been ignoring it. So I took a moment, I sat down, I took a few deep breaths, and I was like, oh man, anxiety. Why? I tuned in, I tapped in, and then I realized why. I'm not going to tell you just for personal reasons, but I realized why. And then I was able to use some meditation, some breathing techniques to get myself out of that. And then I went about my day and it was perfect. How amazing is that? And that is what practicing, whether you're on the mat and doing asana or you're off the mat and practicing within the realms of life. That is what it is all about practicing, about learning yourself and diving deep into yourself. So as you go on about your asanas, you can also set intention. After you've done that tuning into your mind, your body, and the spirit and creating that connection, you can set the intention. And I recommend and I invite you to, when you set that intention, to really embody it and feel it, radiate it, and take it on. You know, a lot of times I know that in the past I've set an intention and then I've said, okay, I'm gonna make that my intention, and I forget about it. I just mentally set that intention, right? But when I take a moment to set the intention, to embody it, to feel it, to radiate it, to use all my 5 senses to step in and lean in, and then I start creating on the mat or off the mat. I create that intention and I get rolling with it, and I keep feeling it, I keep radiating it, I keep embodying it. It just nurtures that seed and blossoms like a beautiful flower. So I really invite you to do that on your mat and off the mat, and see how that intention works for you, and let me know actually how that intention works for you when you really take the time to embody it, radiate it, feel it. Okay? So next, when you are in asana, sorry, my nose itches. When you are within asana, there is a sensation or feeling, the spirit of a pose, as I have been taught, comes through. So for instance, Warrior 2. I get students into Warrior 2, and I used to actually run away from this pose. I hated Warrior 2. There's just something about it. It hurt. It freaking hurt. And I just wanted to get to the next pose. My mind was always like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? Flip my warrior. Oh, not quite, a little better. Side angle. I'm out of it. Cool. I've noticed this though within my students, which maybe I just attract students like me, but I've noticed students in Warrior 1 or Warrior 2, they fidget, they'll check their alignment 5 times, they straighten their legs, sink back in, straighten their legs. It's just procrastination, right? Fidgeting is procrastination. I tell my students that all the time. Checking your alignment over and over. You can feel that alignment as you're in the pose. Stop checking, feel it. But then as that Warrior 2 sinks in, if you really take your time to feel in that pose, it's a powerful pose. And it takes a lot of power in the pose, or to stay in the pose. I know that when I'm in Warrior 2, I feel powerful. And if I'm not leaning into my power, then I'm not getting the full effects of the pose and I'm cheating myself. I also know that if I'm not leaning into Warrior 2, I'm not leaning into my power, and I'm taking that reflection into my life as well, because yoga is a reflection of our lives, right? So that was a really long way of talking about the spirit of the pose, but you can do this with any poses. Another great example is Camel Pose. It really opens up the heart and rips it open. Any emotions that come up in Camel Pose, you can really feel the spirit of that pose. Yeah. Child's Pose brings in a spirit feeling of surrender. Yeah. But yeah, I challenge you actually to, when you go throughout your poses and you're in asana, to figure out the spirit of that pose. Whatever feelings come to you within those poses is the spirit of the pose. So try it out and let me know how that goes. And then as you go throughout your asana, take a moment to rest and rejuvenate in your practice. So it will also allow you to bring in your breath and bring in that heart coherence. And then Savasana. As you're in Savasana, focus your mind on your breath. You're going to bring in that heart coherence and do magnificent things when you're done with your practice. So I hope this helped you really understand heart coherence and then ways to bring it into your yoga practice and into your daily life. I'll see you next time. Comment down below and tell me what your favorite ways or favorite tools that you learned today to bring heart coherence in are. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.